Good evening. I'd like to call the Gurnee Village Board regular meeting of November 12th, 2018 to order. Roll call, please, Andy.
Hood. Here. Thorstensen.
Here.
Jacobs. Here. Ross.
Here.
Garner. Here. Thomas.
Present.
6 present.
All right. Tonight, we are going to be led in the Pledge of Allegiance by PAC 677. So, young men, if you stand up and step forward. Everybody else join me. Please stand.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good job. Thank you very much.
Here we go.
All right. First up is always public comment. You're encouraged to come and state your name for the record, and your address is optional. We'd also ask if you'd sign your name in the back. That'll help us with the public records. I would like to state that this is public comment, so you feel free, and we certainly want you to express any concerns or issues that you have, but it's not a dialogue and it's not a discussion. We're listening tonight. If we hear something that we're not aware of or hasn't been addressed, we will direct staff after the meeting for follow-up. But right now, it's your opportunity to say whatever you want on the record, and it's written and digital, so you are being taped. It'll be on YouTube, and we welcome hearing from you. Again, state your name, and address is optional.
Okay. Hi. My name is Elizabeth Tice. I live at 3435 Country Club Avenue in Gurnee. And I'm here to express concern about the ethylene oxide emissions from Vantage Specialty Chemicals. I sent an email earlier to Mayor Kavorik. My husband and I wrote it. My husband's name is Thomas, so I was going to read that letter now. We are residents and owners of 3 businesses here in Gurnee. In 2015, we purchased a home in Gurnee on Country Club Avenue near Spalding School because we believed it to be a safe neighborhood to start a family. We now have 2 children. We were devastated, disappointed, and fearful to learn that our family resides in a cloud of dangerous carcinogenic pollution. Most days, our children never leave our home or neighborhood. If they attend Spalding School, they will rarely leave this block until they are 8 years old. We want to know how long the village knew about the use and emissions of ethylene oxide into our neighborhoods. Why was the use of this chemical approved? And how was this location zoned for heavy industry when it is a block from an elementary school? We see the school children playing outside every day, and it is horrifying to think that some of these children may get cancer because a hazardous industry is allowed to operate next door. Or to think that my own children may get cancer because of where we bought a home. We read the village's statement regarding Vantage Specialty Chemicals, but it did not provide any information that we can use to make decisions for our family. We must decide if we need to quickly sell our house and get to a safer location. Should we even allow our children to stay in our home another night? And should we stay at a relative's house until we sell our home? As of right now, there's no publicly available data from perimeter testing, so we really don't know our risks. And if we decide to sell our home quickly, how much has our property value dropped due to its proximity to Vantage Specialty Chemicals and the recent publicity of this problem? Is the village or Vantage Specialty Chemicals going to compensate us for our loss in property value? How is the village going to respond to this issue? Will Vantage Specialty Chemicals and other businesses be allowed to continue emitting ethylene oxide when it is in such close proximity to an elementary school and residential area? Will the village continue to renew their business license to operate in Gurnee? We look forward to hearing from you within 30 days. Signed, Thomas and Elizabeth Tice.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Celeste Flores, and I'm also a Gurnee resident. I've been a homeowner since 2014, and I do saw on the agenda that you guys are going to designate November as a national, don't remember, it's said, I forgot what it's indigenous.
Yes.
So thank you. I do want to acknowledge that. I think bringing that up, and our land is sacred, and for thousands of years, the First Nation people were the ones that took care of it, and I'm really grateful to see that and excited to see how that moves forward next year and how we can really celebrate and honor their tradition and know that they're still present and still in Lake County with us. But I'm also here and would like everyone that's here because of the ethanol oxide to just raise their hand. You know, I think this is something that's really concerning. Like I said, I'm young, I'm a homeowner in that area, and I think I really want to know what the village board is doing, how you guys are bringing the US EPA for air monitoring. I think it's needed. We need to know why Vantage Specialty Chemical is still operating. What are the next steps for this? And really having a community forum. I think, you know, I put this on the Nextdoor app, and people were really concerned and didn't know this was going on. I didn't know this was going on until I got a call from Chicago Tribune asking me about this, and to know that I'm in that area is really concerning for my health, for the health of my neighbors. I've lived in Lake County and Park City, Gurnee my whole life, probably within 5 or 10 miles my whole life, and I just want to make sure that, you know, our children, that our community is safe, and I want to know what the leadership, what the village board is going to do, and how we can bring the US EPA and the Illinois IPA here to tell us what our next steps are and how we can really address this, because it's something that's affecting all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Celeste.
My name is Ryan Horth, and I'm just going to be kind of to the point. I've got a bit to say about the same issue. And so basically, the federal EPA is notorious for lax oversight, and it's apparent in this case. It's difficult to determine if these companies are truly complying with the standards they claim they are, because the standard itself is convoluted. For companies that emit between 1 and 10 tons of this chemical, they're allowed to continue emitting if they do it in a certain way. For companies that emit more than 10 tons, which is typically the companies that make it, they're not allowed to continue emitting it, which is really bizarre. So we have an absurd situation where companies that make high volumes do not emit much of it, but companies that use it do. And this is our situation. And this likely resulted because when the EPA makes rules, they do a cost assessment, but they typically only consider the cost to the companies and not the cost to the people living there. So when you look at their economic assessment in the rule, it just says that it will cost $7 million to implement their rule, and it doesn't say anything about the lives saved. It only says how many tons it will stop from being emitted. It doesn't say anything about the lives or the damage to the community. If you compare the costs of the controls to the number of cancers it will cause, some rough math says that the EPA believes the rule, that under the current rule, each death in our community is worth very little, possibly tens of thousands of dollars. So under the current rule, the value of human life is very little. So you won't read in the rule that the cost to the community is actually tens of millions of dollars, most likely, whereas to the companies it would be only hundreds of thousands at most to fix it. So under this regime, the community is forced to pay a tax to the polluting company. We give up tens of millions of dollars in the form of hospital bills and lost lives so that the companies can avoid spending hundreds of thousands. The cost, in fact, to treat one case of aggressive non-Hodgkin's lymphoma could exceed the cost for these companies to fix the situation. The beauty of this country is that we have local control over communities. We do not have to wait for the EPA to make new rules or enforce their rules. If the past is any lesson, I may die of old age before that occurs. Less than 2 weeks ago, the Illinois Attorney General and DuPage County State's Attorney filed a lawsuit against Sterigenics in Willowbrook for emissions lower than those reported in Lake County. They have asked the judge in that case to determine if there is any safe level of ethylene oxide emissions and ban Sterigenics from emitting it if there is not. We need the Lake County State's Attorney and Illinois Attorney General to file a similar lawsuit against Vantage and Medline. We also urgently need to follow the example of State Senator John Curran and have our state senators introduce a bill to reopen the air permit for additional public comment at the Illinois EPA. More importantly, we must support Senator Curran's other bill. This bill would immediately ban the use of ethylene oxide in Illinois for non-medical purposes and impose a ban for medical purposes by 2022. The reason for the distinction is that medical uses are important to society, and it would cause disruption of healthcare services to place an immediate ban. but agricultural and food uses are not essential. They should be banned immediately. Do not think this is too hard on these companies. They have known about this danger for decades, yet chose to do nothing about it so long as the community was unaware. They have alternatives, and they should have sought to control their emissions or adopt those alternatives long ago. They are responsible for the damages they bring to the community, just as you and I are responsible for any damages we bring to others in the community through our own negligence. If you start a fire in your yard and it burns out of control and burns down to your neighbor's house, you are responsible. If you emit a chemical into the air that causes cancer and other health problems, you are responsible, regardless of whether you knew the risk. But these companies have known the risk for a very long time. To our local leaders here today, we expect you to take the lead on this issue. This is a major crisis in the community, and we hope to work with you in bringing it to a satisfactory resolution. I hope that we will be impressed by your leadership and cooperation with the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan.
Good evening. My name is Barb Pulowski, and I'm here as well to speak about ethylene oxide. And I went up on the website, the Village of Gurnee, and I didn't like, well, it's not that I didn't like it, it was too vague. I thought, no, this is not good enough response for me. So I did some research, and then here we are. The National Institute of Occupational Health did a study, and then the EPA did a study, okay? And they were the exact same studies, but they didn't have the exact same studies with different results. And I thought, what does that sound like to me? It sounded like those, I don't know, football players where they did brain studies. One group of doctors did a study and said, no, brain damage, that won't hurt you too bad. And the other side of the aisle said, yeah, I really think it will. It took them 10 to 15 years, maybe longer, to say to these players, yes, it's very detrimental. So I'm here to say I don't want to wait 10 years. I don't want to wait 5 years. And actually, I don't want to wait a month. This lady generously gave you a month for a response. I think 2 weeks, actually 48 hours, I think there should be a response, because the longer you delay it, they'll just have an excuse. So you should just have a short window, get their excuse, shorten it up, and ask other questions. But I think 30 days for you to investigate is too long. And again, we all know how it all turned out for those football players, and we don't want that same result for this village. Thank you.
Thank you, Barb.
Good evening. My name is Steve Wexler, 2460 Downing Circle, Gurnee. I just found out about this meeting about an hour ago, and I just want to make a quick comment. We need to put people before profit. We need to put health of human lives before economics. We need to put the well-being of our citizens, not just in Gurnee, but all around the communities, before we start looking at the benefits to a private company. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
Good evening. My name is Brittany Albrecht Sloan, and I want to first thank you guys for your time, because I know you're volunteers, because you're passionate about our community, and I'm passionate about our community too. My husband and I have lived in the Country Trail subdivision for 10 years, and our starter home is our forever home. We were married in our backyard, and I've had 2 pregnancies in our house. My kids are 1 and 2 years old. Obviously, I'm concerned about this issue, and so excuse me for being emotional, but I respectfully request that the village supports the Senate and House bills on this subject, and reach out to the concerned businesses and other units of government. I live closer to the Medline facility, which I know is in the city of Waukegan. I plan to speak with them as well. But I'd like to hear from these companies what they're doing to protect their employees, people who live or who work in the businesses in those same areas, and then the people who live in those communities. And lastly, I would request that you support neighborhood level testing. Information right now is available at the census tract level, which isn't very specific, and I'd like to know more about how this might be affecting my family. So thank you.
Thank you, Brittany. Anyone else like to speak now? We do have public comment at the end of the meeting. All right. And I will say, and this isn't a dialogue, but I will say that every single person on this board is just as concerned, myself and village staff. We live here. Every single one of us live in the village. We breathe the same air. We have children, too. Have raised our children here, and some of us even have grandchildren. So we share your concerns. We are actively engaged with the government officials who really have the most influence, control, and oversight of the situation. So our senators, Senator Duckworth and Senator Durbin and Congressman Schneider, have been wonderful. They've reached out to us. Senator Duckworth sits on the Environmental Committee, so has probably the most influence right now to help us figure out what the resolution, what the right information is and what the resolutions are. So we're talking to them. The U.S. EPA has been very generous with their time with us, too. There's a lot to be sorted out, and we know and recognize it needs to be done quickly so everyone can make informed decisions. But we share your concern. And we also are working with the Lake County Health Department. They've kind of taken the lead. They have a little bit more expertise in air quality than we have here in the village. They've been wonderful to work with. They've been putting out some excellent information that's plain language, and they've been having discussions. There has been some talk about Lake County Health Department hosting a town hall meeting as soon as some updated and accurate information is received, which is being worked on right now. But the right people that the village can work with are engaged and have been reaching out to us, and everyone is doing what they can, the right things right now to get this resolved. So I very much appreciate you coming tonight. Again, this is recorded in the minutes, so our representatives will know that we had a good crowd here tonight and that you all are very concerned, and it's not just us on the village board expressing our concern, that our residents are too. So thank you. Now, we will probably use our website to communicate any new information and updated information, so I encourage you to check that regularly too. And we'll certainly get everything out as quick as we can, as quick as we receive it. So again, thank you tonight, and you're more than welcome to stay for the meeting. We have some business to conduct, and then we have public comment again at the end. All right, so I'm going to close the floor to public comment. All right, I thought some people were getting up again. All right. All right, I'm going to move on to approval, item B, approval of the consent agenda as presented. Do I have a motion to approve? Motion by trustee Jacobs.
Second.
Second by trustee Garner. Roll call, please, Andy.
Hood.
Yes.
Thorstensen.
Yes.
Jacobs.
Aye.
Ross.
Aye.
Garner.
Aye.
Balmas.
Aye.
6 aye.
All right, motion carries. Patrick, please read the consent agenda into the record.
Item number 1, approval of the minutes from the October 22nd, 2018 Village Board meeting. Item number 2, approval of Engineering Division's recommendation to award sanitary sewer cured-in-place pipe service contract to Hoare Construction, Inc. at a cost not to exceed $150,000, municipal partnering joint bid consortium contract. Item number 3, approval of Police Department's request to renew annual maintenance support for the Police Department Records Management System with Public Safety Systems, Inc. at a cost of $21,210.46. Item number 4, approval of payroll for period ending October 26, 2018 in the amount of $1,030,517.81. Item number 5, approval of bills for period ending November 12, 2018 in the amount of $1,194,484.30.
Thank you, Patrick. Do I have a motion to approve the consent
Second.
agenda? Motion by trustee Balmas, second by trustee Garner. Roll call, please, Andy.
Hood.
Yes.
Thorstensen.
Yes.
Jacobs.
Aye.
Ross.
Aye.
Garner.
Aye.
Balmas.
Aye.
6 aye.
Motion carries. Move on to petitions and communications. First is a proclamation for the National American Indian and Alaska Native Heritage Month. During National American Indian and Alaska Native Heritage Month, we honor the accomplishments and cultures of these groups and recognize their contributions to our village, state, and country. And the first American Indian Day was celebrated in May 1916 in New York, and in 1990, President Bush signed a joint congressional resolution designating November as National American Indian Heritage Month. And in 2005, the National Museum of the American Indian opened in Washington, D.C. to educate the public and illustrate the important role of Native people. And the Village of Gurnee joins other communities across our nation in celebrating and recognizing the many contributions and legacies that are attributed to these Americans. Now, therefore, I, Christina Kovarik, Mayor of Gurnee, do hereby proclaim and call upon the citizens of the Village of Gurnee, Illinois, to join in observing this month of November 2018 as American Indian and Alaska Native Heritage Month. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Trustee Ross, second by Trustee Garner. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, proclamation passes. Our next proclamation is from the Warren Township High School Future Business Leaders of America for American Enterprise Day on November 15th. The village would like to acknowledge the Warren Township High School Future Business Leaders of America Phi Beta Lambda chapter for its celebration of American enterprise. And the American enterprise system allows us to buy, sell, and exchange goods and services in an open market with few restrictions, and the members of Warren Township High School, FBLA PBL, have learned to cherish that freedom. And FBLA PBL's mission is to bring business and education together in a positive working relationship through innovative leadership and career development programs. And FBLA PBL is on the leading edge of career and technical education and promotes business ethics as part of the education it provides students. And local chapters of FBLA PBL annually observe November 15th as American Enterprise Day and promote education about and appreciation of the American enterprise system in their communities. And the Warren Township High School FBLA PBL chapter celebrates by distributing certificates to local businesses to thank them for their participation in the American enterprise system. Now, therefore, I, Christina Kovarik, Mayor of the Village of Gurnee, do hereby proclaim November 15th as American Enterprise Day in the Village of Gurnee. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Trustee Thorstensen, second by Trustee Balmas. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Do we have any representatives from FBLA? Okay. You guys want to introduce yourself at the microphone?
Hi, my name is Matthew Walowski. I'm a student at Warren Township High School and a member of Warren's FBLA chapter. FBLA stands for Future Business Leaders of America, and it has enabled many students like me and many of my peers to diversify their business skills in many different fields. Just a few weeks ago, we attended the National Fall Leadership Conference in Chicago, Illinois, and we were able to attend many different workshops that talked about public speaking skills, leadership skills, and just in general business skills. So we would like to thank the Village of Gurnee and the Village Board for continually supporting our FBLA chapter, and we would love to stay involved in our Gurnee community.
Good, thank you.
My name is Kashyap Ramachandrula, and I'm a co-lead for the American Enterprise Project. The Warren Township High School American Enterprise Project Committee is planning on meeting with underprivileged elementary students to progress their knowledge on the American enterprise system. Thank you.
Thank you guys for being here. We'll get this signed for you, and we're all just trying to take good care of the community until it's your turn. All right, we'll move on to reports. Patrick, no reports?
None tonight.
All right, old business?
No.
All right, then we'll move on to new business. And the first item is approval of employee life insurance and accidental death and dismemberment policies with a new carrier, the Standard, for a 24-month period beginning January 1st, 2019.
Yeah, I'm going to let Christine walk you through this. She had a pretty detailed memo and handled this in conjunction with our benefits consultant, Peter Wright, so she's going to walk us through this for you.
Thank you. Good evening. After 5 years with the MetLife Insurance Group, they came back with our renewal for this year. Unfortunately, we are experiencing an increase in our renewal rates, and even with discussions with the carrier on extending the renewal period and or reducing the rates, did not work to our advantage. So we did go out to the market through Peter Wright, our broker, received 2 responses in addition to our current one. One, obviously, as I explained, was non-competitive in terms of their rate offer, and the second one was the standard. We have been with the standard previously, prior to MetLife. We at one point were also with the standard, so we've been with them before. Solid carrier. They did offer us a very competitive rate that actually reduces us below what we currently are at. We would continue with the supplemental life offering that we currently have with our MetLife program. So if employees want to purchase additional life coverage for themselves and then get spousal and child coverage, they have that opportunity to continue. That's at their cost, so that is fully employee funded. But we are recommending that we transition to the standard for our life insurance for the next 24 months. I'll entertain any questions.
Questions from the trustees? Everyone's automatically covered when we switch,
Correct.
right? We don't have to worry about.
No, we'll
Somebody being
do
excluded
enrollment
or-
forms and beneficiary designations, but everybody is automatically covered. The village pays the premium for the basic life and AD&D benefit. That's just part of our benefit package that we offer the employees. But the supplemental, they can purchase on their own.
All right, again, any questions? If not,
Make a motion to approve.
I have a motion from trustee Balmas, second from trustee Jacobs. Roll call, please. Andy?
Hood. Yes. Thorstenson.
Yes.
Jacobs.
Aye.
Ross.
Aye.
Garner.
Aye.
Balmas.
Aye.
6 aye.
All right.
Thank you.
Motion carries. Item number 2 is approval of the 2019 Village Board meeting schedule.
Yeah, obviously, business meetings first and third Mondays, committee meetings fourth Mondays of the month. We try to work around holidays and observances, and then also try to avoid back-to-back meetings if we can. So the months that deviate from that schedule will be January this year. We'll have regular business meetings on the 7th and 28th with MLK Day in the middle of the month. No committee of the whole meeting that month. May only has 3 Mondays, and we've got Memorial Day, so no committee of the whole meeting scheduled for that month. And then September, Labor Day, so we'll push the regular business meetings to the 2nd and 4th. So maintain 8 committee of the wholes, as we did with this year and past years, which is a good number, and otherwise stick to the 1st, 3rd, and 4th Mondays.
Questions, changes, conflicts?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by trustee Balmas, second by trustee Garner. Roll call, please, Andy.
Hood. Yes. Thorstenson.
Yes.
Jacobs.
Aye.
Ross.
Aye.
Garner.
Aye.
Balmas.
Aye.
6 aye.
All right, motion carries, and everybody can get these on their calendars early. All right, that's the end of our new business tonight. I'll reopen the floor for public comment. Anybody would like to address the board? Just come up to the microphone and just state your name again, please.
Steve Wexler. I'm just curious, what life insurance company did you switch to?
The Standard.
It's called The Standard?
Yeah,
The Standard Company?
The Standard, right? Yeah, that's what it's called, The Standard. I know, I was kind of weird when I was reading it, too.
That's not affiliated with MetLife, correct?
No,
Okay.
no. All right, if no one else wants to address the board tonight, we have no other comments. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by trustee Jacobs, second, whoops,
Sorry.
hold on.
I didn't have time to prepare, as I said before. I only heard about the situation with air quality an hour and a half ago. Do you know, are you in contact with the other villages and cities around, the towns around this Lake County area who are affected?
We've been in touch and working with the Lake County Health Department, who is reaching out to all the communities. A single source usually works best to try to disseminate information instead of you know, everybody calling everybody else.
So future communication that I need to pay attention to would be through the Gurnee Village website?
We'll post yes, we'll always post current information, anything we receive from the county or from IEPA or US EPA. We'll probably post a notice with links to their sites.
Okay, because I definitely want to stay in the loop
Okay.
regarding this very critical situation.
Yes. I don't think there's anyone in town who doesn't want to, so we'll do our best to get it out as quickly as possible. Thank you. All right.
Can I say something?
Sure.
I'm going to speak, I am a trustee, but I'd like to speak, you know, as a resident of Gurnee as well, because I too am impacted by this situation. What I would like to say is that everybody knows what's going on. Vantage knows what their levels are and the dangers with ethylene oxide. Sterigenics knows. Everybody who professionally deals with these chemicals, they know what's going on. They're scientists. They know more than all of us know. But also the Illinois EPA, they know. The US EPA, they too know. And what I'm seeing from what I've read is that right now a lot of finger pointing is going on, which is pretty normal when there's trouble. So what I'd like to know is who knew, when they knew, and who gave them permission not to tell us. And, you know, again, it shouldn't take a long time to know, to get the answers to this, because everybody knows. And so I just want to go on record saying that, you know, I stand with the community as a resident in finding out very quickly, you know, what's happening here, because I'm seeing a lot of finger pointing, and it's going all the way up to Trump. And, you know, we don't need to finger point. We need to solve the problem. So I just want to say from where I sit and what I've read that I believe everybody knows. And now it's time to find out what they know, when they knew it, and what they're going to do about it. And so that's what I wanted to say.
All right. Thank you, Trustee Garner. All right, I had a motion from Trustee Jacobs, a second from Trustee Balmas to adjourn the meeting. So all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right.
All right.